So here we have a piece of paper that I found under my desk. And I just had this weird thought. Can we take this old sheet of paper, I don't even know what this is, can we turn this into something, into a watercolor? This would be like the ultimate mistake. Now let's see what we could do with it. This has been sitting under my desk probably for months. Let's give it a full blast with water and just kind of wet it down. Can we turn this into a variable masterpiece? Now you'll notice when we hit it with the water, it does loosen up. Yeah, the paper's breaking down, which is a bad thing, but we'll just go with it just to see what we can do. Okay, so let's take, let's go to the old palette and let's dip into some, you know what, let's dip into some blue and just, let's get some ultramarine blue, a little phthalo blue and a little cerulean blue. Now, we don't have much light to work with here, so let's, man, this paper is just disintegrating. It's disintegrating before my very eyes, I think. I think that's coming off of the paper. There, it's coming out of this brush. Maybe it's coming out of the brush. Oh, a different brush. No, it's the paper. It's the paper. Let's go to our blues. Painting under the worst possible conditions is an experiment. And this is kind of what you guys should be doing too, is experimenting with just the worst, absolute worst thing that you can find. The worst paper. This will teach you how to overcome obstacles. Let's dip into some yellow here. And you're saying now, to see, this is what you would say now. You'd say, this is never going to turn into anything. This can never be anything. And you know what? I'm probably not going to disagree with you. Because just like any other painter, at this point, you start to have your doubts, like when you're painting something and you say, this could never be anything. This is never going to possibly be anything. It's impossible. Let's get some more blue here. I would definitely agree with you. I would throw this away ordinarily. Ordinarily, this is something I would throw away. Let's go into some blue and burnt sienna here. Let's put a little mountain in there here. And let's get some little darker. This needs to be a little bit darker here. And just a little lighter with the you can see this paper is just falling apart. Maybe we'll use that to our advantage. Knock off a little bit of the, maybe it'll have a unique characteristic to it. It's interesting. It's very interesting. So let's come back with some cerulean blue. Well, this is just a waste of paint, I think. Hey, Joe, what are you doing? Have you been drinking tonight? Only one beer, I swear. No, I have not been drinking. Have not been drinking. Not at all. So, let's take a little. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll cheat a little bit. We're going to introduce a little white into this. I think I'll use my finger. For some reason, this is really thick. We'll introduce a little white into that. And then we'll give it a shot with the water. Just maybe dance this around a little bit. Now, if you're doing something like this, you could say, well, this will really, you know, if you find something in here you like, you might discover a new, technique that you hadn't even thought of before. That's what makes this very interesting. This is why experimentation, I believe, is very, very important. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to introduce a little bit of white above these mountains here. This yellow looks a little too phony to me. Okay. Now what we can do is take a little bit of this white and we'll bring it, we'll add a little snow cover. Surface of the paper is still coming off. This is awful. we'll just sort of dance that in there. And let's give it a little spray. What can we do with this lower foreground area? Is there anything we can do to improve upon this? What we can do is we can go ahead and get some more blue. We'll get the cerulean. Let's try to make as much water as we can, preserve the... Actually, we could probably introduce a little bit of yellow into here. This little thing is a problem. Let's take advantage of the paper breaking down, and we're going to rub some of that out. Let's get in there with some yellow in there. And then we'll come back with ye old blue. We'll try to match the sky. Let's get a little phthalo blue in there. The only thing about phthalo blue is it will make it look a little green. This is the ultimate diversity. Oh, that's the right word, but... Adversity. What am I thinking? The ultimate adversity challenge. So now you see we have some light coming down. The only thing we're missing is it's pretty yellow. I mean, we could dance in a little yellow up here, up in through the clouds. Just don't want it to look too green. And then we can bring this across. And have we really tortured this paper enough? That's the question. Tortured and abused this paper. I'm liking those clouds though. I think they look neat. I'm going to dance in a little gray up in here. Whatever's on my brush, actually. I didn't want too much yellow above those mountains. I didn't want it to look too... I don't know. Tell you what, we're going to take a little bit of... Let's take a little bit of burnt umber and just tone down that a little bit. And then let's create some rocks or something here, something. Add some blue into that and some Payne's gray. And a little more blue. Sort of some rocky cliffs. For the waves to be hitting against or something. I'd like to get a little more of that brown in there. Now, as if we haven't abused this paper enough. Let's, wow, look at that, paper's falling apart. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. This could happen to you now, see, when you're getting hard, you're getting tough with the paper. Look at this, just ripped. You see that? Oh no, my paper ripped. We're not going to give up. We are not going to give up. We are not going to give up. We're dealing with adversity here. Look at those rocks. Isn't that looks cool when that is hitting there. Just be a little more careful. That actually is a very neat effect there, I think. Let's go back to the... Look at it, the paper's creasing here. Isn't that something? Let's just... I want to darken this so that it makes that those little rocks stand out that much more. Look, nothing is ever really going to be this bad. I mean, I don't think. This is probably the worst possible case scenario that you would have. You know? Possible worst. I'll tell you what we'll do while we're here. Let's take and still got a little white on the board. Let's just use this white. Look at my paper is still, wow. I'd love to know what the paper this was. I mean, it can't take anything. We'll dance a little. Let's dance a little. Water splashing up on the rocks. Helps to make those noises, I was taught. Now we need something. Let's take this brush and just blend this in a little bit here. I lost a little bit of that yellow rock that was there that I kind of liked, but the paper is still coming off. This is what you would call a train wreck now, ordinarily. Now let's get a little over here. Look at that. Ba 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 ba. Just get tough with it. Let's get some wind coming down. And we're going to use this and just blend everything in and brush away all of this. See, what I needed was a little help. A little bit of help. Need to get a little. That's it. Now, I would say the only thing that I don't like about it is I would prefer that this be more blue like that. So I think I will dip into, let's just go back to the ultramarine blue. Is that going to be close? Well, maybe if we had a little, too much? Maybe too much, huh? Oh, that's too much. That is just too much. But you know what? Sometimes too much is just right. And if that's too much, I'm going to give it a little spray. Look at that. Just rubbing it with my finger. Okay, we're going to let this dry. This was just a crazy project that I came up with off the top of my head. I'm sorry you had to see that. Let's let it dry and then we'll come back. Okay, we're still drying here, but I wanted to come back while we were drying. Let me get some of this white that was back here. And I just want to flick some spray while it's still, I don't know if this is going to work, but I think it's too wet. Just want to flick some spray in there. Could make it a little bit thicker. Whoops. Put out a little bit more gouache here. I don't know how this gouache got to be so thick, but it is. And let's just, because this will get lost in the shuffle if you... So just some sea spray. And you look at this, this is, I want to flatten this little crease out. Still losing paper. We'll leave it like that, and then I'm gonna let it dry. And I don't know, I may come back and put a tree in here. Let's see what happens. Let's let it dry fully and then come back. Well, I've actually resorted to using the hairdryer now. This paper is just so wet. It's so unbelievably wet. And I just thought I'd come back and show this. I was going to dry it off camera, but the paper is so sopping wet saturated. I thought I'd show you that too, because that's another adversity we can relate to. So I'm just going to keep drying it, and we'll be back at the end. So I've actually been blow drying this thing for 10 minutes off camera, and it's still wet. And also I took a little, I came back because I started losing the snow on the mountains. So I'm just applying with my finger just a little more snow. In the middle here. I will give it a little, I don't want to wet this anymore, but I need to loosen this up a little bit. Just I think that's it. I don't really want to do much more with that. So let's look at how flimsy this is. Look at, can you, I don't know if you can tell just how pliably flimsy this is. I'm going to dry it a little bit more. Well, after a few more minutes of hair drying, it's still wet, but let's go ahead and zoom in. Now you can see this is actually the paper that's been coming off, but it's actually an interesting effect, these little dots and different little things, you know, once you put it under glass. Now we did have a little tear here. You can always trim this. So another reason, if you rip it, not to give up, you can always cut it down to a new size or mat it further in. Some options there. But that's it. That's the finished painting. Let's see it in the virtual frame. Okay, just for laughs, here's where we started. And here we are in our virtual frame. I think it turned out actually not too bad. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please leave a comment. And let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.